Last time we met, we looked at sounds in context, phrase by phrase one, and I asked you to identify all of the, what do you call them? The content words, right? The content words. Which ones are the content words? Nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Those are the main categories. Plus, what else? Demonstrative pronouns, this, that, these, those. And what else? WH question words like who, what, where, why, how. Okay? What else? Numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, what else? What other grammatical categories? All right, so you forgot, it doesn't matter. What about, let's say, let me refer you back. Can you remember what lesson we studied that in? Where do we study about content words and function words? Do you remember studying that? I recommend we go back to chapter 4, and we see on page 36 and 37. 36 and 37. Bottom of 36 and the top of 37, you can see sound focus 1, stressing content words. Remember that? Yeah. Okay, so this will help you remember, or well, you don't have to remember, you can actually look it up and just say, oh, I see, main verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, demonstrative pronouns, possessive pronouns like mine and yours, reflexives, yourself, myself, negatives, all kinds of negatives, can't, won't, don't, never, none, question words, who, what, where, why, we said that, and what about numbers, and quantity words like all or most. Okay, so those are the words that are content words. And what do we do with content words? Do we make them longer or shorter? Longer. Do we make them bigger or smaller? Bigger. Do we make it stronger or weaker? Stronger. Do we make them higher or lower? Higher. Okay, all of those things. So we want to make them longer and stronger, bigger and higher than the other words. They always have to have a clear vowel. They always have to have a clear vowel in them. In contrast, what do we call the other words? We have content words and function words. Right, so what are the function words? They're words like articles, a, and that. What else? That's okay, you can look at this. If you don't remember, you can look it up. Prepositions, right. Prepositions such and to. Conjunctions like and. Yeah, hands and feet. Auxiliary verbs, yeah. So auxiliary verbs are helping verbs. For example, if I say I could go, not I could go, but I could go. I told him I could go. Yeah, yeah. And we will ask questions like, have you ever seen that movie? Yes, I have seen it a few times. I have seen it. So the first part, have, that's an auxiliary verb. Not I have seen it, but I have seen it. So auxiliary verbs are also called helping verbs. They come before the main verb. And the main verb might be a past participle, like I have seen it, because that's present perfect. Or it could be base form verb like this, I can see it. Can see is followed by the base form. Or it can be an ing form of the verb. For example, they are going. They are doing something. So doing, that's the main verb, and are the be verb. So all forms of the verb be. I'm a teacher. I make I don't say I am. I say I'm a teacher. Right? So we use the verb be also in a small, usually in a small way. Okay, so it's very weak and very short and very low. And personal pronouns like he and she. Remember we practiced linking those words? When do we link the word he? When it comes at the beginning of a phrase or in the middle of a phrase? In the middle, but not at the beginning of a phrase. Okay? And if it's not stressed for some reason, we're not doing anything for contrast. Yeah. So then we have he and him and her. Those words, when they come in the middle of a phrase, we will omit the H. And we'll just say, not tell him I'm here, but tell him. Tell him I'm here. Tell him I'm here. So that's an H we can leave out, right? We can omit that H. Possessive pronouns like what's her name. Same thing, we don't have to say what's her name and what's his name. We can say what's her name? What's her name? Yeah, what's her name? What's his name? Yeah, I met a new guy today. What's his name? Yeah. I have a new roommate. What's her name? So we don't even pronounce the H sound in those words. Relative pronouns are also weak. The car that I bought. Yeah, the car that I bought. The car that I bought is white. Yeah, that. Not pointing that one, and this one. So THAT, remember, has two meanings. One of them is to point, the demonstrative. We say, that is my car. That is not my car. Okay, the car that I bought, the word that is a relative pronoun. So relative pronouns are also short and weak. Okay, so going back to our, where were we? You have a question? Mm-hmm.
Pronounce the personal pronouns. When you omit the H, how do you say?
Okay, when do we omit the H? When it's a personal pronoun. Okay, so for example, if I wanted to say, is Tom at home? If the guy's name is Tom, instead of saying Tom, because you already know we're talking about time, I can say, is he at home? But I don't have to say, is he at home? Right, I don't pronounce the H. I just make the Z. I put the, remember, because is a Z sound. We write S letter, but it's a sound like a Z, voice sound like the letter Z. So we say, is he? Is he? Is he at home? Is he at home?
Don't use the F.
No H. No H. Don't need the H. Omit the H. Is he at home? No, is he? Is he at home? Is he at home? Yeah, he's at home. If I say, yes, he's at home, the H has to be pronounced at the beginning because it's the phrase, the starter of the phrase, the beginning. He is at home. Is she? Is she? Is she? Is she at home? Is she at home? Is she at home? Is she at home? Is he at home? Is he at home? Is she at home? Good. Okay. So, well, we go back to page 71. All right, let's go back to page 70. Let's review this. And if I say only the content words, that means I'm telling you the main meaning. Content means it gives you the main, the important stuff. And the function words are more like grammar pieces that put the sentences in correct order with the correct grammar, the correct structure. But if you said only the content words, somebody would understand your idea. If you say only the function words, we don't know what you're talking about because it doesn't have enough content in them. All right. Now, in this story, of course, you have to emphasize all the content words, but you also need to emphasize two personal pronouns because they're in contrast with each other. So suppose I tell this story without any function words. Would that sound weird? You want to hear it? What does it sound like? Oak tree, reed, grew side, side, rim, river. Time, spoke each other, weren't close friends. Mighty oak thought, far superior, humble reed. Great height, look down. Don't have pride? Oh, question, reed. Ought to stand up straight, way I do. No wind make stoop, lower myself. Just spoke. Awful storm began. Lightning flashed. Strong wind shook trees. Oak fought storm, standing firm short while. Very stiffness caused ruin. Wind struck hard against, tore branches, broke biggest boughs, toppled river. Reed swayed, bent, letting wind blow over. Storm passed, still growing, rim, river. You like that story? Even though it's missing some words? Those are the main words you've got to say. Now, what happens if I just say the function words? Listen to the story with the function words. And, by, on the, of, from, to, they, to, but they, the, he was, to the, and from, on him. You, the, and, been, you, the. Can you get the idea? No content, right? You got to make those words small, all right? So what I'm trying to show you is the content need to be really big, right? Make the content words sing. Make them sing the song. And the other ones just kind of make them come along, but they have to be compressed. And I know a lot of you got the concept, you were able to underline and find which ones were the nouns and which ones were the verbs. And your grammar is okay. You're trying to identify all of them, right? And you were helping each other out when you're doing your pairs. But how about when you speak? That's the main thing, right? I'm asking you to identify these, not because in the real world you're ever going to need to do this. You'll never have to go out in the real world and say, oh, this is a content word and this is a function word. People don't even know what you're talking about, right? When you talk to Americans, they're not going to ask you about that. They don't even know what it is. I'm trying to teach you because this is a step. This is a step towards you understanding which words need to be long and strong and clear and high. All right? So when you know that concept and put it together in practice, then you can say these words bigger. What happens to the other words? You have to smash them. You have to compress them. You have to decrease them. You have to reduce them and make them shorter. So that's a trick that some of you need to work on. You need to do the compression thing. Because some of you say long, 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 equal, 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 and then there's no difference between long and short, long and short, long and short. All right, so this is what we're going to practice. All right, everybody stand up. Let's try it. Stand up. An oak tree.
An oak tree.
And a reed.
And a reed.
Grew side by side.
Grew side by side.
On the rim of a river.
On the rim of a river.
From time to time.
From time to time.
They spoke to each other.
They spoke to each other.
But they weren't close friends.
But they were close friends.
The mighty oak
The mighty oak
thought he was far superior to the humble reed.
to the humble reed.
And from a great height
And from a great height
looked down on him.
looked down on him.
Down na nim.
Down on him.
Look down on him.
Look down on him.
Don't you have any pride?
Don't you have any pride?
The oak questioned the reed.
Question the reed.
He bend and bow
You bend and bow
to the lightest breeze.
to the lightest breeze.
You ought to be more dignified.
You are more dignified.
You ought to stand up straight. The way I do.
The way I do.
No wind can make me stoop or lower myself.
No wind can make me stoop or lower myself.
Just as he spoke,
Just as slow.
an awful storm began.
An awful storm began.
Lightning flashed.
Lightning flashed.
And a strong wind
And a strong wind
shook the trees.
shook the trees.
The oak fought the storm, standing firm
Standing firm
for a short while.
for a short while.
But his very stiffness
But his very stiffness
caused his ruin.
caused his ruin.
The wind struck hard against him,
The wind struck hard against him.
tore as big his boughs.
Tore his big
Tore his branches,
Tore his branches.
broke his biggest boughs,
Broke his big boughs.
and toppled him
And toppled
into the river.
to the river.
But the reeds swayed and bent,
But the leaves swayed and bent.
letting the wind blow over him.
Let the wind blow over him.
And when the storm passed,
And when the storm passed,
he was still growing
it was still growing
on the rim of the river.
on the rim of the river.
Very nice.